a.m. stream because a lot of my fans or a lot of my audience, it seems like, just like me, are night owls. So once again, let's chat about Freemasonry. Any thoughts you have, any comments, ideas, positive, negative, or neutral, please let me know. We have been talking a lot about Freemasonry and the Enlightenment, which, I'm happy to keep talking about. I'm also perhaps going to start focusing specifically on Masonic, specific Freemasons who are Enlightenment thinkers: Ben Franklin, Voltaire, Diderot, Concerdant, I can't pronounce his name to save my life, but, that may be something I look at doing. But, 1 a.m. live stream, let's see who, like me, is a night owl and what it is that you want to chat about. Any thoughts you have on Freemasonry, positive, negative, or neutral, please let me know. Going to give it, as always, a bit of time. Just see who might be floating around, and as always, what it is they want to talk about. And then eventually maybe we'll move on to specific topics like, if I can spell correctly, Masonic districts, locations, as well as other interesting topics, Freemasonry and the Enlightenment perhaps. But let's give it a bit of time. Let's see who finds us and what it is that you want to chat about. Any thoughts, positive, negative, or neutral, please let me know, and I'd love to hear them. I know a lot of people sometimes have negative views of Freemasonry, and you know what, that's okay as well. Even though I love Freemasonry, I've been a Freemason since 2007, I really enjoy chatting with people who have maybe more negative views because I think it helps me at least better understand what it is I love about Freemasonry and helps me better sharpen those arguments. Please, as always, though, if you are just joining us, take a moment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, let me know how it's going, and if there is anything at all that you want to chat about. Dennis is back. Welcome back, Dennis. How's it going? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining. I would just say it's 1 a.m. here, but I think it's a different time, your time. So you're probably not, maybe not quite the night owl I am. But thank you so much for joining. One vote for Brazil, which is actually, that lodge in particular, although it's also true in the Philippines, was founded by United Grand Lodge of England and English lodges, which is a cool little fact. They're celebrating in Rio the 90th anniversary of the founding of the Grand Lodge of South America Northern District on June 14th. But in the Philippines, why was I thinking, who was I thinking? Oh, it's Gareth. Sorry, Dennis. It was Gareth who's in England, who has a different time zone. So you're in the same boat as me. It's 1:07 for me as well. Well, thank you, Dennis, for being a night owl like I am. I very, very much appreciate it. Jade, G-U. Welcome, Jade. I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining. I like the name Jade. I hope you hit the like and subscribe button. I always makes you think of Mortal Kombat because there's a character named Jade. So that's what always pops in my head. I hope you're doing well, though. Thank you for joining. And please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing. And if there's anything about Freemasonry you want to talk about, any questions, any thoughts, positive, negative, or neutral, I'd love to hear it. And we may go back and talk more about the Freemasonry and the Enlightenment as well during the stream. Mark is back. Welcome back, Mark. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Jade. I truly appreciate that as well. I say like and sub a lot. You're going to get used to me hearing me say that. because I find people come in and out of the stream, so I do try my best to, say it pretty frequently. So in case anybody joins for a couple minutes, they hear me say it. I get that call to action in, as the podcasters would say. But thank you, Jade. I truly, truly appreciate it. Let me know how it's going. Let me know how you're finding this stream. Is YouTube recommending it, or are you searching for it? Do you follow Squared Compass? All those questions. And for the first hour, it's just a hangout, chat, anything you want to talk about, let me know. I had a great meeting tonight at the temple. It's been a really good meeting, so it's been a lot of fun, and it's been a good week. So thank you everybody for joining. 4 votes right now. I'm actually honestly considering trying to go to one of these 2 places. So you may decide where I spend my money, Philippines or Rio, because they both have some pretty big Masonic events happening. The Philippines has like a public Masonic procession event happening, and Rio is celebrating the 90th anniversary of the foundation, or the formation, I should say, of the Grand Lodge of South America Northern District. It's kind of funny, South American Northern District turns out to be sand, so that's kind of cool. But thank you, Jade, for liking. If you have any questions about Freemasonry, please let me know. That goes for anybody, anything you want to talk about. Copper Lapis is back. I cannot help you. May I suggest you find yourself a lawyer if you're being sued? That is the best I can possibly do. I wish you best of luck in your endeavors on that one. It sounds like fun. Gassy, once again, like I said, Gassy is back, and welcome back, Gassy. As I was saying, Gassy Tyler always makes me think of the Masonic Lodge Tyler. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you, everybody who's joined. Interesting. 5 votes. Philippines, 6 votes. Philippines is 4-2. Yes, I remember you, Gassy. Okay, it's Tyler. I'll call you Tyler. I usually call people by the first word in their name, but I'll go with Tyler. How is it going? Thank you for joining. I truly appreciate it. Interesting. On the polls I've done, Ben Franklin is running away as everybody's favorite Enlightenment thinker, probably because most of my answers come from Winnipeg, or sorry, America, and America is probably going to pick a famous American um, over a French Enlightenment Mason. I hope everybody, though, is doing well. Well, Philippines is really taken off. Anybody who answered the poll question, let me know why you would have picked, let's say, the Philippines or Rio in your answer. What is it about one of those districts or areas that you find more interesting? I'm very sorry to hear that, Caitlin. I lost all my grandparents at this point. 41 years old. It happens. But I don't necessarily cry anymore about them, but I still miss them very much. And yeah, it sucks to lose any grandparent, grandmother, grandfather. So I'm very sorry about that. Mark David, I am not 33 degrees. I am 18th degree, 18th degree Scottish Rite. However, the degree that actually matters is the 3rd degree, and I've had that for a fair bit. So. But I hope you are doing well. Thank you for joining. Let's hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and ask me any questions you want. Mark, when you ask 33 degrees, out of curiosity, why is it you ask that particular question? Because people have different ideas about 33 degrees. Are you a 33rd degree Mason, or have you read things about it? Because I find people get really fascinated by this idea of the 33 degrees. I think because it's kind of considered the highest, even though the highest is actually 3 degrees. So. Let's just see how much longer, wait a bit longer, see if anybody else joins before, as I was saying, once again, we start on our particular topics. No worries, Jade, but thank you for being here. I really appreciated it. Four votes. Philippines is up 6-2. Thanks to you guys, I may be going to the Philippines instead of Rio, which I guess I can't complain about either or. Thank you so much for being here. I hope everybody is having a great day. Please, as always, if you are just joining, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know how it's going. What is like 50K? I do not know. I mean, it's not cheap flying, but it's not 50K, that's for sure. At least I hope not. Otherwise, I ain't going anywhere. Otherwise, I'm going, one block down the street and that's it. Just going to give it time, see if the audience shows up, and then, like I said, we'll start chatting once again. It's not like 50,000, but it's not cheap. It's not cheap. But it depends also on the type of flights you get. I mean, as things get more expensive, you find a lot of flights and stuff, ironically enough, they try to do deals whenever they can because with the amount of expense, they don't want to, they know people need to spend more on food and stuff, so they want to try to offer deals whenever they can. So it's one of those things where it's tough. Interestingly enough, on Twitter, my one vote so far was for Brazil. And honestly, flying to South America is actually relatively not expensive. Thank you, Sebas, and once again, thank you for being here. I do hope you will, and everybody else watching this, hit that like and subscribe button if you're new. If you're not new and you've already done those things, then thank you for being here, hanging out with me late at night. Wow, the Philippines are just taking off. Anybody who answered Philippines, let me know why you picked that one versus Rio. Is there something specific about the Philippines you find interesting, or something specific about Freemasonry in the Philippines you find interesting? I should have really said non-Masonic districts, Masonic jurisdictions, but it's a whole other can of tuna. Thank you. I hope you will, take a few minutes to check out some other videos and leave a comment on those as well. One of the best ways you can support the channel is by commenting, liking, and subbing. All that stuff helps out major, as well as checking us out on Medium, Patreon, all that good stuff. Sebas, we could always use that support on Patreon as well. But thank you, everybody, for being here, hanging out with me late at night, chatting about Freemasonry. Today's topic is once again going to be Freemasonry and the Enlightenment. Tomorrow's probably going to switch up a little bit, maybe talk about specific Enlightenment Masons, but that is for tomorrow. I mean, I love all of my audience. It's wonderful to have an audience join, and even whether it's one person or 20 people or however many enjoy my content, I really do appreciate it very, very much. Those who build their knowledge of Thomas Jefferson most members of Jefferson's French circle were Freemasons. I picked the Philippines because Yanks were there. Okay, Mark, that makes sense. I haven't heard anybody describe, Americans as Yanks in a long, long time. So, one of those terms. I don't have much hair, so, but I appreciate it nonetheless. It's interesting. Freemasonry in the Philippines, to my knowledge, actually started not out of America, but out of Masonic lodges in Portugal and UGL, United Grand Lodge of England. Oh, Spain, actually. It was first brought under Spanish rule. Meow Mix. Welcome, Meow Mix. Thank you so much for being here. I have a cat, so, I appreciate Meow Mix. I hope, by the way, you hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you for being here. So, actually, Freemasonry in the Philippines originated with Spain. I thought Portugal. It was, and most Freemasons love that episode. This Freemason included. I love the episode. It's not called Stonecutters. It's called Homer the Great. Um, how many presidents were 33 degrees? I don't know. There were, depending on who you ask, 18 or 19 Masonic presidents. Most were not 33 degrees. I know that for sure. Some were just first degrees. But I don't know how many were 33. I mean, 33, when you say what is it about, I mean, it's an honorary degree. It's something that you can't apply for. You have to be offered it. So it has become very, it's one of those things where because it's an honorific and a title you need to be offered, it's very, people tend to think of it as very special, even though for me, I've always said, and it is true, the 3 degrees that matter are, it's the first 3 degrees that matter, and then maybe becoming a worshipful master. After that, it's lateral moves. It's not actually, one above the other. But thank you again, everybody, for being here. I hope everybody is having a great day. Please take a moment, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing, and if there's anything you guys want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry. Meowmix, please hit that like and subscribe button. And 33 also, I mean, people have these weird ideas of mystical numbers because 3, it's a prime number. 3 is a prime number, etc., etc. But, Jesus lived to be 33 years of age, if I recall correctly. But a lot of that stuff is just kind of silly. Gematria. It's not. Gematria is the use of divination through numbers, right? Which is not. I've known a couple Masons who found Gematria interesting or numerology interesting, but at no point in any of my Masonic teachings did divination through numbers come up. I mean, numbers are important in Freemasonry in the sense that you need a quorum of 7. 3, 5, and 7 is important, prime numbers. But those are not, they're part of ritual. They're not used as some type of divination, to what I understand. If I'm getting gematria right. If I'm not getting it right about what it is, then please let me know. Because like I said, it's not something I know 100% about. I don't know. Well, Yankee, right? Yankee Doodle Dandy. The Yankees were the North in the Civil War in the States, but I have no idea how it came about. Sure, it's something dirty with the term Yanks. 11 votes. It's interesting how Philippines is really taken off with the lead right now. 73% to 27%. By the way, please take a moment, hit that like and subscribe button. Let me know how you're doing. Anything you want to talk about when it comes to Freemasonry. Any thoughts you have? Positive, negative, or neutral? I would love to hear it. I'm going to share the stream in a couple spots just to see if anybody new shows up. Although I do have a Masonic initiative tomorrow morning at 8:30, so I will have to end this stream a little bit sooner than usual. Why not, Stephen? Why would you not address someone as the worshipful master, if that is his title? For example, what is calling somebody sir but that, right? Or, mayors are called their worships, right? And master is a title that references not, anything over an individual, but rather his ability to rule and govern a lodge. That is true. He is no different. However, he is responsible for the governing of the lodge. And as such, you could describe it as master. Now, he can't tell you what to do, but he makes sure the lodge runs properly. So, it's a sign of courtesy, a sign of respect. In the same way, when we have the Grand Master come, I call him the most worshipful Grand Master. When I'm the master of the lodge, not all the time, but in lodge, I'm addressed as worshipful master. It also is a really good way to ensure a certain level of decorum, because when I'm in the East as the worshipful master, I am not representing myself, I'm representing the office. And so it's important to think of myself not as Cameron, but rather as a worshipful master. And I have to do what's best for the lodge. So that title kind of is a reminder. In that moment, it's not about me or my opinion. It's about the good of the lodge, or me trying to do my best to ensure the good of the lodge. So there is that, for whatever it's worth. Quiz is back. Welcome, Quiz. But worship can mean different things, right? There's worship in a religious sense, and worshipful as in worthy of veneration. It's kind of like celebrity. It comes from celebrate, to be celebrated. Right, you could say you only celebrate one man, and that's God. But, celebrity is understood that they are celebrated in a certain way. That's okay, Quizzy, but I did appreciate you modding on the last one, because honestly, this stream is probably going to go much shorter, because I have to be up early tomorrow. I have a Masonic event happening early, so I won't be able to stick around as long as in other streams. But I am looking at potentially trying to do a trip somewhere, maybe Rio, maybe the Philippines, and I wanted to see what people were thinking. Thank you, Quizzy. I truly appreciate that, and I appreciate all of your support. But boy, oh boy, the Philippines are running away with it, so. And I also still have to fold my laundry. I don't know what type of stream that would be, but maybe I should do a stream of me folding my laundry, because there's a big pile just sitting there, staring at me, judging me for not doing it. Thank you. I agree. Meow Mix, the number 418 in the Book of the Law comes about a couple of times in the book, and it's RCW for... I do not know what that means, Meow Mix, but it sounds like you do. I know very little about numerology or gematria or anything to that extent, but I'm always interested in... Excuse me. I'm always interested in wanting to learn more. And don't just like and subscribe on this video, Quizzy. I would, and anybody watching this, I would love it if you guys checked out some of my other videos, maybe my most recent podcast episode, and check out the, leave a comment on there. Commenting really helps. It's 1:27. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. You got to be up at 6. For heaven's sakes, go to sleep. X is back. Welcome back, X. I hope you're doing well. Thank you so much for being here. As always, to everybody joining and watching, thank you for being here. I truly, truly appreciate it. As always, the first hour, wait to see who joins, and really we just chat about anything. But then the second hour, we have specific topics, although tonight, because I'm so, got to wake up early tomorrow, I may end the stream a little bit earlier. I might be naive. Numbers play a huge part in the occult. I mean, do numbers play a huge role in the occult? Or, well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. To what extent do numbers play a huge role in Freemasonry, right? Numbers are a way to regularize and formalize things. And certainly there are certain numbers, certainly in geometry, the golden ratio, the Pythagorean theorem, or even formulas, prime numbers, that have always been considered important mathematically and that can sometimes, like Pythagoras, was he a mathematician? Was he a cult leader? Was he both, right? Or was Pythagoras an occult mathematician or just an early example of a mathematician or physicist? I mean, again, there are numbers that pop up in our rituals, but those are kind of for regularity. So you need 7 members to open a lodge, for example, in our jurisdiction. That's quorum. There's numbers of steps you take. But again, it's so everybody does it the same way to build those bonds of friendship or brotherhood. Oh my gosh, quiz. What is my favorite place I've been? That's a tough question. But a good one. Um, Honestly, I gotta go with an answer that will surprise no one if you watch this stream. Chicago, Illinois, and Glenview, which is absolutely like a second home for me. It's a place that I love. I go there often. I feel like I'm there every couple months because I got a lot of good friends there. I'm going to be going back soon. It's just a really beautiful place. Chicago is incredible. Well, I mean, the same thing. I can't speak much for York, right? Scottish, right? Again, numbers are referenced, years. Like there's reference to 7 years wandering and this and that. So there's references to numbers, but the idea that they're used kind of as like something beyond a way to enforce regular or create regularity is not the case. What's my favorite movie? Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4, The Dream Child. I love Chicago. I absolutely adore it. I think it's an incredible city. It's a beautiful city. The people are amazing. The trying to think of what you would call it. Oh my gosh, the architecture is incredible. The Masons are incredible. I love Chicago. I think it's a shame sometimes the reputation it gets. I wish it had more of a positive reputation because I think it's so incredible. So yeah, I love Chicago. I'm sure there are parts I wouldn't want to be at late at night, but that's true for any city. It's just about exercising common sense. And Chicago has a really great Masonic history. And the new Pope is from Chicago. And I was really hoping the new Pope, being from Chicago, being born at a time when Freemasonry was incredibly ubiquitous in the United States, including in Chicago, he may have a more favorable view to Freemasonry than others in previous years. So at least that's what I've always hoped. Or that's what I do hope, I should say. But yeah, I love Chicago. And not only Chicago, but there's a town north of Chicago called Glenview. Whenever I go to Chicago, I always go to Glenview. That's where I stay. That's where my friends are. And I absolutely love it. It's a really cool spot. What's my favorite thing about the Earth? The fact that it exists. The fact that we get to be on it. I mean, if, anywhere else in the universe, we wouldn't be able to survive, right? So the fact that it exists. So the Catholic Church beefs with Freemasonry, but we don't have a beef with anybody. We will welcome anyone who believes in a supreme being. So if other groups have problems with Freemasonry, that's not on us, that's on them. Like, I know many Catholics who are Freemasons, right? So you're a Christmas fan. I've always been a Halloween fan myself. Like, fall, I'm one of those horrendously insufferable people who, whenever it turns to fall, talk about how much I love sweater weather and stuff. And, scary movies and campfires. And I'm one of those people. Although, it's funny, as I've gotten older, I've grown to be a bigger and bigger fan of Freemasonry. So it's funny that way. Freemasonry, Christmas. a bigger and bigger fan of Christmas. So. Like, are you asking me what my opinion is as to what the scariest horror movies are, or do I know? Because to me, the scariest horror films are the psychological horror films. Like, I would say the scariest horror film I've ever seen is Requiem for a Dream, by a mile. Requiem for a Dream. And that's not based on a true story, but it's based on a lot of true stories. A lot of people who suffer from drug addiction and stuff can really relate to Requiem for a Dream by Darren Aronofsky. My favorite holiday, for years and years, I would have said Halloween, but really Halloween's not a holiday. You don't get the day off. I gotta go with Christmas. But my favorite season, my favorite special day that's maybe not a holiday is Halloween. I love Halloween. I love being scared and spooky things and all the rest of it. Thank you so much, everybody who's joined. It's wonderful to have, be on at 1:35 in the morning and have a 12-person stream. I think that's awesome. Um, Philippines well in the lead with our 13 votes. And by the way, I will be back streaming tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, and it'll be a lot of fun. I'm the same way. I talk about horror movies all year long, don't all year round. Don't get me wrong. Not a fan of action movies though. Yes, if Halloween was a holiday, I'd say Halloween. My two favorite types of movies, and this is, honestly, I know how it sounds, but it's true. My two favorite types of movies, number one is horror movies, number two, Hallmark Christmas movies. So, to do with that what you will. But if you had to ask me my favorite movies, the list changes. The top two, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 4 and Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, those two switch positions, but I love those so much. Never seen The Town, Couscous. Um, After that, I mean, I love any slasher. I love Sorority Row, House on Sorority Row, The Prowler, all the Halloweens, all the Nightmares, all the Friday the 13th, all the Hellraisers. But then I also love 80s flicks. Like I love Adventures in Babysitting with Elizabeth Shue. What a great movie that is. It's just so hard. I love Mulholland Drive. I love um, uh, oh my gosh, the Jingle Bell Bride. So yeah, I have an eclectic taste in movies. Thank you, Quiz. I truly appreciate that. I believe, Stephen, in a supreme being. And I use that term very specifically because the term God, depending on where you find yourself, will have a specific religious connotation. So, for example, living in North America, how I grew up, when people say, do you believe in God? I immediately think of and assume kind of a Christian God, Jesus, things of that nature. If I, lived in Morocco, I'd probably think of the Muslim God. If I grew up in a Jewish community, I'd think of Judaism, right? So we say supreme being to be inclusive of any and all faiths in Freemasonry. So I do believe there's a supreme being. I believe there's something bigger than us, but I do not believe in the tenets of one particular faith or one particular book. I don't know if anybody knows the answers, to be honest, but that is just my opinion, and I don't speak for Masonry, certainly. I have watched Trick or Treat, liked it a lot, very, very much enjoyed it. How could I do? I'm trying to find the cheapest way to do this trip to maybe, it looks like the Philippines it's going to be. I'm wondering if maybe I can go, let's see. I'm wondering, I have an idea. Let me know if you, so X, what would you say your favorite scary movie is? Um, Benevolent. The supreme being I believe in is benevolent. Um, I don't know. I mean, you know, Motley Crue had a great album called Shout at the Devil, but that's as far as it goes. No, the supreme being I believe in is benevolent. Maybe benignly benevolent in that I don't believe he, gets involved, but I do believe he cares for us and wants us to make quote unquote the right decisions. Oh, that's a scary movie. I've never seen it, so I don't. Yeah, I wish I could say I've seen it before, but I have not. Um, but I'm sure it's very good. Came out last year. Cool. I would love to check that out. Maybe I'll get the chance. Oh, I haven't been to movie theater in so long. You're making me jealous. I want to go back to one. I love movie theaters. That used to be one of my favorite things to do. It was go check out horror movies. I used to love or movie theaters. I used to love doing that. Welcome. So far, Trick or Treat or horror movies based on true stories. Okay. Anybody else in the chat want to let me know what their favorite scary movie is? A great scary movie. Make sure you're of the proper age to watch it. Is From Hell, starring Johnny Depp. I mean, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't consider Freemasonry to be occult because occult means hidden, and Freemasonry. I mean, I'm pretty open about being a Freemason and proud to talk about it. And I think occult, unfortunately, oftentimes has kind of hidden or nefarious undertones. Having said that, I'm sorry that your family is, challenging or full of horrendous people. It just sounds like it's just a crummy situation. So I wish you the best of luck with that. And honestly, families can be challenging. Families, extended families, can always be really tough. I am as well. And again, but I mean, when you say occult, like I said, I understand if you go by the most strict definition of occult, you could argue Freemasonry is occult in that there are elements of it that are hidden. But then so too was Christianity occult for much of its history, right? So too is many different aspects. Um, or many different religions can be occult. Having a family recipe that you don't share could be occult. Having, let's say, the recipe to make Pepsi or Coca-Cola or something could be considered a cult. Oh, I'm the worst. I don't know anything about cars. I'm terrible with cars. Sorry, Quizzy. I mean, Porsche 911 because of James Bond. So, Stephen, if you don't mind my asking, why would you consider Freemasonry a cult? I wouldn't, but what is it that you would makes it, in your opinion, a cult? That's funny. Answer the door with the chainsaw. Dodge Charger. There are elements they will not share with others. Okay, so do you think that anytime there's something that someone will not share with somebody else, that equates with the occult? So, for example, what is it about, let's say, me not sharing my social insurance number or my bank information on this stream? If I choose not to share that, is that also occult? Or what is it like? What type of information would you say when you hide it is occult versus private? Um, the 2020, I know nothing about cars. I wish I knew more. Um, Oh no, I know. Yeah, I mean, people always have their different views of what and that's awesome, by the way. Like I said, some people love Freemasonry, some people love cars, some people love both. I'm sure there's a few Masonic car hounds, a few Masonic license plates. By the way, please take a moment if you're just joining us, hit that like and subscribe button. That's true. So, why do you think I would back off talking about an initiation ritual? Right? Like, what would be the reason that I might not want to talk about it? But assume, let's play the game where you start with a, well, so it's called a cable tow, but what would be the reason I might want to not discuss specific parts of ritual? In like but assuming benefit of the doubt, like assume positive reason first, if you could think of a positive reason. Right? Because it's not about reputation. Because if it was about reputation, I'd probably explain more to make it understood, kind of the symbolic purpose of it. But I don't want to. What might be the reason why I wouldn't want to? So try to find a flight. And by the way, everybody watching this, please hit the like and subscribe button. And I do appreciate your comments, Stephen. You always make the chats fun. Sean, so that is part of it. For somebody who is new and looking at joining, I always advise them, don't look anything up, because going through it without knowing anything in advance can make it a much more special occasion. Stephen, so that's one. Maybe I'm concerned I wouldn't be able to explain it well. That's another good point. For me, the reason why I try to avoid discussing specifics is because, on my dad's side, I didn't know my grandfather. He passed away before I was born. And, um, having gone through the same Masonic rituals as he did, or at least similar, I mean, they do change somewhat over time. It's just human nature, right? Things change. But having gone through somewhat similar rituals as he did, I feel like I have a connection to him that I didn't feel like I had before. And if I'm traveling anywhere in the world, if I do travel to the Philippines, for example, um, I will, and I see another Mason, I have a connection to him because we've been through something, we've been through the same thing, we've been through the ritual. If I start to give information about the rituals out in public forums, start to confirm things or deny things or whatever it might be, I'm contributing to people learning about that stuff, and then the bonds are less. The bonds will be lessened between brothers. An example, I've used this a billion times. I'm sure you've heard me say it a billion times. If I've got a family recipe and it's been passed down from grandparents to parents to me, and I want to pass it on, I'm not going to share it online or share with other people, even though there's nothing nefarious about it, even though there's nothing concerning about it. It's just, if everybody has the recipe, then it's less special when I give it to my family. We in Freemasonry, or my offspring, we in Freemasonry, yes, we have, yes, we have rings or whatever it is, but what we really have to pass on is our ritual. And even though it's online, you can find it. I don't want to contribute to that because I want to try to maintain the bonds between past generations of Masons and future generations. Um, 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 Different connotations. Well, I mean, it's referred to by different things here and there. And again, I'm not going to confirm nor deny what is used in Masonic rituals. What I'll say is, I think that it's important that I maintain the privacy of these rituals as a way to both maintain the magic for new initiates and maintain the connections between past and future generations. So, And, again, it's something that, because my grandfather went through it, I feel closer to him. I feel closer to brothers all around the world. Like I said, when I travel to the Philippines, I'll know something about them. We'll have that connection. If everybody is just learning about this stuff online, it ruins the magic for them if they join. And I feel like in some ways it reduces those connections. So that's why I try to avoid discussing these things. Yeah, but I mean, to me, the issue with occult is, again, it too often has negative connotations to it. If by occult you mean things are maintained privately to maintain bonds, then sure, you can call it occult. But in the same way, you would call many things occult that do not have any nefarious kind of undertones to it. Too often, people, when they hear the word occult, they think demons, demonology, sacrifices, things that just are not part of Freemasonry. So I try to avoid using the word occult for those reasons. So technically, the word occult means hidden, but in the colloquial definition for occult in 2025 tends to mean more hidden with nefarious or dark purposes or dark undertones. Thank you, Stephen, and again, I do appreciate your questions very much. Cryptic writing, so it's spelled KRIPTIKWRYTING. So you spell it kind of like Leonard Skinner with the Y. Is your band on YouTube, Kirk? I'd be really curious to know, and maybe I'll check it out. Well, I mean, Leonard Skinner's famously spelled Leonard Skinner with Y's, LYNYRD, SKYNRD. And by the way, my favorite song is Simple Man by Leonard Skinner. I will check out your stuff. I would encourage everybody on the stream to check out Cryptic Writing, spelled KRIPTIKWRYTING. I mean, I have never felt nor seen anybody be traumatized by the Masonic experience, so I would not say there's a trauma bond. I bonded to them, and I want to protect that bond. I feel like trauma bond is again, having been through enough Masonic rituals, and also I was a probation officer for many years. I worked in a jail for many years, so I have worked with people who've been through traumas, have PTSD, things of that nature. I've never, I do kind of understand what trauma is, and Freemasonry is not that. That's not to say there aren't challenging times, but it's not the ritual. It's, you're in a meeting and you're debating whether to increase your dues per year by $5 or $10 per year. And it's a 7-hour meeting because everybody has to have a say and an opinion. You go through the wars and that stuff, right? But the actual Masonic rituals, what I can say is I've never felt nor seen any indications of trauma, and I guess it's one of the things where you just kind of have to take my word for it. Well, born again to me, that's a Christian reference. I'd be very scared of tornadoes because I would find being in a tornado traumatic. So the idea of born again, I'm not sure what that, I always think of that in a Christian context, like born again Christians. I don't know enough about Christianity to know exactly what that term means. It depends on your lodge and what they're charging. For me, it was, I'm a member of 5 lodges, and it's between $100 to $200 for each lodge. So it works out to about $500 per year. But that is because I'm a member of 5 lodges. For most of my Masonic career, from when I joined in 2007 to 2020, approximately, 23, I was a member of 1 lodge, so I paid $100 per year. But that is on the cheaper side. I would say the average cost is probably closer to $200 per year. And with an upfront fee at the start, usually about $500. Yes, go to sleep, Quiz. Go to sleep. But thank you for being here. I do appreciate it. And like I said, you see a couple videos, throw a comment down. That always helps big time. Thank you everybody for joining. I truly appreciate it. If you are new to the stream, please take a moment, hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you for being here. I hope that my answers have been working well. Tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, I should be live. I think I'll be live. Unless something happens, I should be live tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And honestly, I'll probably be going to sleep in a second as well, because I do have to get up early tomorrow. So, I mean, I say early, 7:30, so not crazy early, but... But thank you for hitting the like button. Thank you for hitting that subscribe button. We had a major jump in subscribers, which has been awesome. And we're also going to be having a special live stream on my personal channel watching, or maybe this channel to be honest, watching fireworks, which should be a lot of fun, on June 23rd. That's very good advice, Quizzy. That's very good advice. $14 votes. Have a good night. 14 votes. The Philippines is way in the lead. Looks like y'all want me to go to the Philippines. Y'all turning southern. I've never read Hiram Key or Hiram Key. I've heard it pronounced both ways. I always say Hiram, but people always tell me that's wrong. So I don't know much about it. I mean, I've read kind of the classics. I've read, Morals and Dogma. I've read Freemasonry for Dummies. I've read some stuff by Chuck Dunning, who does some really good work. I've read a lot of Masonic research papers. There's a lodge in Virginia that does a lot of stuff. So, but I've not read the Hiram Key. It seems, from what I understand, a little bit far-fetched, the idea that Freemasonry derived from Jesus, I think, is what it means, but... All right, let me see if I can find those. And by the way, Kirk, if you could be so kind as to, from those channels, from both of those channels, subscribe to my YouTube channel, I'd appreciate it. I'd get, in that case, to 230. Why can't I find this? All right, well, maybe what I'll do is actually I'll subscribe to those from my personal YouTube channel, Cameron Adamson. All right, let's see if I can find these. Kirk. What? How do I spell this? Okay, cryptic. Writing band. I cannot find this. I'll have to find this after. The thing I like about Freemasonry, I guess I can kind of understand. Maybe the feeling in some cases that it can kind of appear that it's a little bit arrogant to say, like, we have secrets we're not going to share. And I can get how that can sometimes be a feeling, I guess, for me, or come off that way to people. I hope I don't come off that way. And I guess what I'll say is, like I said, I don't keep secrets or maintain the secrets because I think others are not good enough. Rather, I keep the secrets because I want to maintain the bonds of brotherhood. And, to maintain those bonds, there has to be a differentiating between Masons and non-Masons. It's kind of like, again, family recipe. People don't keep family recipes because, secret because they view others as not good enough for the recipe. It's just something for the family. And so at least I hope that my choosing to maintain the secrets does not result in, people viewing me as being kind of arrogant. At least I hope that's the case. Okay, cryptic writing is on the chat. I found it. All right, let me see if I can find it this way. And please, cryptic writing, hit the like and subscribe button if you've not done so yet from that account. Let me see if I can find your stream this way. I like the way it's spelled, by the way. I think that's very much a Leonard Skinner type of thing. Okay. Oops. No, I want to go to the channel. Oh, for heaven's sakes, how do I do this? Mika, I don't know what you're referring with ivermectin. I don't know anything about it. I'm not a doctor. I just do what my doctor tells me. Okay, I found it. I don't know if I'd be smart enough to research Mika medicine. I like to think. All right, I subscribe to that from my personal channel, Cryptic Writing. I've talked about this kind of before. There are things that I feel like I know a lot about, and I'm happy to discuss, Freemasonry being one of them. But I also like to think that one of, I think, a sign of intelligence is recognizing areas in which you're not intelligent. And one of those would be medicine and even researching. Because, for example, if I Googled ivermectin miracle drug, I would not be smart enough to recognize which articles about ivermectin are legitimate and which articles about ivermectin are not legitimate. Does that make sense? Like, I would not be able to gauge or judge the research accurately. And so I'm very hesitant about this idea of doing your own research. Like, I can read an article on Freemasonry and know if the person who wrote it is legit or full of baloney. I did, but my research came after being a Mason for 20 years and going through the degrees and paying attention. If I spent 20 years in sort of a medical field, then I would be comfortable researching ivermectin. But I need to be really careful that I don't get ahead of myself or view myself as, better than I am in that regard. Because again, I could Google ivermectin, something pops up on Google, I will have no idea how to judge the person who wrote it, how to judge their credentials, how to judge what they're saying. And, I wouldn't be comfortable trying even at this point. I like to believe one of the greatest signs of intelligence is modesty. It could, but I don't know how much I trust AI to make those judgments at this point. So, I try to be very cautious and very hesitant. Please take a moment, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're just joining. Thank you, everybody who's been here so far. Mika, I'm not sure if you're new to the stream or not. I feel like you've been on before, but if you haven't, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I hope you're doing well, and thank you again for being here. You are welcome. I'll probably give this another, let's say, 5 minutes, and I'll probably cut off the stream. I was going to talk about the Enlightenment, but I do still have to do my laundry folding, get ready for tomorrow. So I have gotta wake up early tomorrow morning. I'd like to hope so as well. I think we are. I think Freemasons are, you know, on the side of righteousness, but I mean, it's one of those. I think for me personally, Stephen, I tend to go with the. I like the quote from Seven, which is a dark movie, but the quote at the end it said, you know, the world is a good place and worth fighting for, and I believe exactly half of that. I don't know if the world is a good place or not, but I believe it's worth fighting to make a good place. And I think Freemasonry is one way we can do that. One way we can fight for that. Not the only way, maybe not even the best way, but it's my way. So, for whatever it's worth. Thank you, everybody, for joining, by the way. I hope everybody's having a... Truth is greater than lies. I agree with that. Thank you, everybody who's joined so far. I really, really do appreciate it. I think we're going to call this stream because I have to, like I said, get up early tomorrow. That is the truth of this one. But tomorrow, I'll be back on at 1 p.m. I'll do some more streams, more chatting, and it will be a lot of fun once again. Thank you again for everybody who's been part of these streams. It's been wonderful. Have a great night. Stephen, thank you as always for making me think. I truly appreciate it. And I hope maybe I gave you some stuff to think about as well. All right, everybody, have a great night. Thank you so much. It's 2 in the morning here. Get some sleep.